Hello everyone, and welcome to the August's webinar in our BluebeamMeUp series. It's great to see so many new people here and a warm welcome back to the many of you who attended our previous webinars. A bit of housekeeping. All attendees will be in listen-only mode. However, if you would like to ask any questions, then feel free to put those in the chat box and we will cover them at the end of the webinar. We will also be recording the webinar and the recording will be made available to all attendees. And if there are any attendees that couldn't make it today, they can watch it in their own time on our website tomorrow. I am joined today by my colleague Troy DeGroot. Troy is the leading Bluebeam Revu Certified Instructor in the world, and today he will be diving into a feature which will save you measurable time, improve your workflows and increase your productivity. So, without much further ado, I will hand the mic over to my colleague Troy DeGroot.
Thanks again for the introduction, Darren. Good afternoon, Bluebeamers. My name is Troy DeGroot with U Chapter 2, and I'm excited to partner again with the team at Brittech and Brighter Graphics to deliver world-class Bluebeam training and customization services so you can get the most out of your Bluebeam investment. Last month, we built your knowledge of Bluebeam Revu by uncovering the power behind the markups list, where we discussed ways to sort, filter, hide, and import valuable data collected in your markups. Today, we're going to focus on batch features found only in the Extreme version of Bluebeam Revu. These time-saving tools include revision slip sheet, hyperlinks, and other modifications to several documents at the same time. Be ready to take notes as we explore some of the most impactful tools in Bluebeam Revu. This month's presentation has 18 bullet items, again, to go over in just 35 minutes. As a reminder, you can enter your questions in the chat as I go. We'll be answering as many as possible in whatever remaining time we have at the end. So, straight away, I want to emphasize these batch tools are only found in the Extreme version, and you can find out which version you're using by going up to the Review menu in the upper left corner of Bluebeam Revu and going down to About. The window will pop up here, what version you have up here. So I am running Bluebeam Revu Extreme up here. So you can check those on your computer, see which version you have. It could also say Standard or CAD up here. Again, these tools that I'm showing you today are only available in the Extreme version. So I'm going to close out of here. And let's dive into some of these tools and see how quickly I could show you some of them. We're going to walk through a few of them. I'm going to show you the windows in others with the settings and things like that and just talk you through some of those. So let's get moving. First off, I'm going to jump over to a document from XCon. So last week, I taught two courses at Bluebeam's global conference, the Extreme Conference in San Diego. And this is my PowerPoint that I had for that course. So I printed it, and you'll notice when I flip through these pages that when you print from PowerPoint, it ends up having some extra padding on the top and bottom of your slides. So the first tool I want to show you under Batch is our crop and page setup. Up here, you click on that, this window is going to open, and I'm just going to have this document here. You can also load as many drawings as you want. So if you have several PowerPoints or drawings or whatever the case might be, you can load those in here using your add. You can add files, the open files that you have open up here. A set folder full of drawings or a folder with subfolders. And you're going to see this in all of our tools today. Just know that you can navigate to the documents you want to work with by going under Add and navigating to those however you choose. So I'm going to just select this one document for now, and I'm going to go to Next. Our crop and page setup window pops up, and you can see here I have a page setup tab where I can adjust where that the content of the PDF falls on that paper, scale it up, scale it down, things like that. What I want to show you is under crop pages, I can come in here to remove that little white, that extra white space. I can subtract from the top. I'm going to put in, I do these all the time, so I know that 1.2 is the padding that I need there. 1.2 again. And you'll see that the blue dashed line here crops and it looks like it's going to fit a little better than the red one that it was. So I'm going to click OK here. And you're going to see that it cropped that sheet down and removed the white on the top and the bottom. And as I flip through this document, you can see that it did all of those sheets together, all of them at the same time with the same crop settings. So that is the presentation that I did and how you can use the batch crop and page setup to basically shrink that paper size or that document size down to the context of it. So that is our first one. Let's then jump into, I've got a Windows folder open here. Here you can see I have, what do we have here? 8, 10 or so sheets. And it looks like all of these are rotated 90 degrees from whoever printed these. So I'm going to show you how we can rotate those all at the same time rather than opening each one individually rotating. Again, we're going to go up to batch. This time we're going to go to rotate pages. I am going to click on this one and remove it. I'm going to go to add, and all of those are in the same folder. So I'm going to select folder, and I'm going to go out to my presentation folder here, and I'm going to go to rotate pages, and all of those documents are in here. It's just telling me that I'm in that folder. So I'm going to say select folder. It's going to bring in each of those documents separately, and then I can tell it to rotate. This time I'm going to say counterclockwise 90 degrees, and I'm going to say OK. It's going to say you are about to save changes to multiple files. Do you wish to continue? Yes, that's exactly what I was hoping to do. Click OK, and let me bring that window back up. And now you can see inside of that folder, all of those have been rotated and saved without even opening them. So that's the power of some of these batch tools. We can manipulate multiple drawings or documents at the same time without even opening them. Okay, so let's, what's the next one here? Split documents. So if I go to this document, you can see has close to 40 different pages, and it might be too large to email. We might want to shrink these up or package them in different sections. So the next one I'm going to show you is split docs. So I'm going to go batch, split documents, and this window will pop up, and I'm just going to introduce some of this to you. Our options down here, we're able to split by page count. So if you want there to be 5 pages in each package, you can do that here. Or if you're concerned about email possibly, and you want to limit the file size, you can come in here and tell it how many megabytes you want per file. And then what it's going to do, you can also make sure that you have the update hyperlinks to relative paths checked so that those hyperlinks to section cuts and things don't get broken. They still work. Include layers. You can tell it the destination folder in here. And then down here, you can select a prefix or a suffix. So do you want it to say part 1, part 2, and then the document, or do you want it to say that at the end? So the document name part 1, 2, 3, whatever that case might be. Here you can see the pound character indicates the number position. Okay, so you can come in here and break up documents into groups or manageable sets to be able to send those apart or send those in an email. So I'm going to cancel that one. The next one, I'm going to jump back and let's jump back to my presentation here. On this presentation, I don't have any page numbers or anything like that. This could be a bid document, spec, drawing, anything like that where you want to add a header or a footer. So I'm going to come in here, batch headers and footers. I'm just going to select the file that I have open. Again, the purpose of the batch tools is we could have multiple files open at the same time from different folders all over your network without opening those. I'm just going to point to this one and show you how this works. So I'm going to say next. And it gives you this header and footer little preview screen. And on here, I could go down, let's see, maybe in the header on the left, I want to add the date or page number. So I don't have any page numbers on here. I'm going to add that up here. Page number. I can tell it what format I want to see it in. So I'm going to say 1 of n. So it'll say 1 of 18. And I want to start at 1. Say OK. That gives me a little preview of what that's going to look like. And I can use these margins up here to adjust where I want that to be located. So as I reduce the left, you can see it pull over to the left side over there. If I want to reduce the top and so on, you can get it positioned where you want that to be. And then you have these presets in here that you could put anywhere you want, in the center, on the bottom, top, right, left. And you can also just type in information if you want in here, naming, maybe it's preliminary or something like that you want added in here. You can do that as well. And you'll see once I click OK here, it's going to add that page number on here. If I go all the way back to the beginning, page 1 of 19, and so on, you're going to see that up here. So a lot of times the workflow might be to add those when they're not provided. And then these page labels don't do us any good because they just say 1, 2, 3, 4. In this case, it kind of helps, but you might want to add a page number to that. So you can use your create page labels up here and utilize that by doing a select and drawing a box around that and saying OK. And then it'll rename all those labels with what it saw in that box. So 12 of 19. So kind of a cool workflow there. Next one is the batch sign and seal. So I'm going to come down here to my batch sign and seal drawings. The purpose of batch sign and seal is I need to place my seal or my stamp on the drawings and sign over top of it. And I need to do it to a bulk number of drawings. So in this case, again, I just have several drawings in the same file. I'm going to come back to my batch sign and seal. And I'm going to select all the pages in here. So on here, I'm going to go in and add my digital signature. Checking that box, I'm going to go and actually sign in. See if that works. And you can see it brought in my signature here. I'm actually going to, I'm going to leave that on there. I can put a reason in here. I agree to the terms. I am approving this document, things like that. And then I can also add the date and my seal. So down here on my seal, I can have it import my my signature, or my signature with my seal. I'd have to double check where I'm just going to use that one. Are you sure you want to overwrite the existing stamp? I'm going to say yes. And then I can go ahead and move this where I want it. So I'm going to just drag that, drag my date as well, and drag my signature. I'm going to have to zoom in a little bit. And I'm just going to move all my parts over here. Sorry, I'm jumping around. Put this into that section along with the date. And where did my signature go? Once I get this all placed in the right place, I'm going to go ahead and click OK, and it's going to embed that on all of the sheets in this document, or all the sheets that my signature's over here, all the sheets that I pointed to, and it's going to flatten the document so it's ready to send out certified and signed. So that is our batch sign and seal. Next, we're going to go to, looks like I skipped over one. I'm going to jump there quick. The batch security. In this one, just looking at the settings, we have an opportunity to require a password to open the document. So you can put in a password and verify that. Just putting different security levels on documents, require a password to print, copy, or edit, and so on. So you can see the different settings in there for security. In a batch capacity, again, you would load as many drawings as you want at the same time without even opening them. Cancel here. Go back, and the next one we were on was apply stamp. So in a lot of scenarios, when you're in a document that has several pages, you can always apply a stamp to several pages. Apply to all pages is a right-click option. Here, we're able to point to several documents again without opening them, and position and tell it what stamp, where we want that to, using the XY coordinates, we can tell it where to put that stamp, where the anchor corner is. So from the upper left corner, this particular one I have set up to go 5.7 inches to the right and 7.5 inches down. So this is just a way to apply a stamp, whether it's a preliminary or a not for construction stamp, anything like that, to several documents at the same time. So I'm going to close that. And I'm going to jump into the combined set here. Again, this is the same document. We have almost 40 sheets in here. This is one of the most popular features in the batch tools, and it's called batch hyperlink. So if I come up here again, batch link, I can click on new, and I'm just going to select open files. I don't want that one. This should be the one I want. Actually, it's this one. Sorry. Again, you can add files and folders. I'm going to show how to do this within one document. I'm going to say next. And with this one, I am going to select a page region. Click on here. I'm going to go down and draw a box around this G100. And I'm going to say OK. And over here, I'm going to click on generate. And it's going to create this list. So what this list means is that every time Bluebeam finds G101, it's going to create a hyperlink going to page 2. So now we can go in and click on run. Let's take a look at the link options first. I like to include the appearance properties and select a yellow fill style. And that will make sure that I can see all of the hyperlinks because they'll be highlighted yellow. So I'm going to say OK here. I'm going to click run, and you can see what that looks like. It's going to go through just in a couple seconds. It's looking for all of those sheet names in all of those sheets, and it's created 129 hyperlinks that quick. I'm going to click on finish and close, and now you can see my sheet index is active, and I can go look at level 1. I can click on the stair blow up. I can look at the stair section. It's just a really nice way of navigating through those drawings, drilling down from the plans through the elevations, building sections, and details. So that is our batch hyperlink. Next one I'm going to run through is batch compare documents. In here, I want to select the current file. So I'm going to grab onto a folder and go into my compare documents. And I just called this one current drawing. That's where all the current drawings are, the full set. I'm going to say select. And then on this one, the revised files, I am going to point to a folder here. Same project, going to select revision 2. And it pulls in those drawings that were affected here. And now I'm going to click on Match Pages. It's going to recognize how these are named and match those up for me. And then all the unmatched are ones that don't have a revision file. So this worked just the way we wanted to. It found the ones that matched and lined them up together. And before I run that, I'm going to go ahead and tell it where to put those put those drawings. So I'm going to come in here into our project, compare documents, and I'm just going to put them in the root here, select folder, and say OK. So it ran those. I'm going to just say OK here. I don't need to do that report. And let's go back to our folder and open that up. Into our compare documents. And here you can see in the preview, I'll open up one of these. It ran it on each of those. Here you can see it put a cloud around all the areas that were different between the two drawings. So if we opened those up, the original and the revised, you would see that this wall moved over both of these together slightly. They rearranged this room here and added this one. So it's finding the differences in those drawings in a batch capacity and clouding those for us. So really cool tool there. The next one we'll show is our batch overlay. If you're not familiar with the overlay, let's just do the same folders real quick. The original's up there, and the revision 2. Match those again. They found each other and made sure that they matched up. This time I'm going to go to my overlay pages folder and say OK. And that's going to run. Ask me if I want to put a report in there again. Just for documenting purposes, when revisions come through, it might be a good idea to run a detailed report and put that in that comparison folder. I'm just going to cancel that. Jump out to my folder again, to my overlay pages. And here I'm just going to open up one of them, and you can see what's different between those drawings. So it puts those on top of each other, just like an old light table, shows you the differences. If you go to the Layers tab, you can turn each version on and off, so you can see what's on this one and what's on that one, and then of course how they correlate with each other, overlaid on top of each other. So that is our batch overlay pages. Next, we're going to go into Slipsheet. So this one's another popular one. If I go into my sets, you can see that I have built a set of individual documents. These are all individual pages, pulling from a folder so that we're looking at a set. And when I click on these, it'll open up an individual sheet and allow me to not have the document that's 40 pages open, but only one at a time. So it opens it up so other people can work on this as well. In this one, you can see this is all my current set. And with Slipsheet, we can actually start stacking in our revisions. So I'm going to come in here to Batch Slipsheet. My open set is my current drawings, and my revised file, I'm going to come out and point to the folder, Slipsheet Revision 2, select. It's going to bring in all of the sheets that were affected by that revision, and I'm going to click on Match Pages again. On this one, you can see that they weren't named similar enough, so they didn't match up manually or automatically. So all I need to do is manually match those. So I'm going to come down here and select A201 on each side and match. And I just go through and do these one by one real quick. E-sheets, the end, 101. 2, 3, match. And then what's cool about this slip sheet tool is I can insert the revised pages before the current page. If I wanted to simply replace it, I would change that pull down to replace. I like to do the insert because then I can copy markups from the current pages to the revised pages, unflatten those if necessary. And I can also stamp the current one superseded. So it's going to stamp the old one, put the new one on top, and carry all the markups forward all in one slip sheet. So I'm going to click OK here, and you're going to see those slide in. And the new one is always, I'm going to click OK here. The new one's always going to be on top. I can create a report on this also. Click OK there. But you can see here on this structural S.1 sheet, you have the current sheet and you have the superseded sheet. So you can always go back and look at previous versions, but your most current one is always going to be on top. So that is our slip sheet. And then as far as user functionality goes, all your users would open up this set file and have access to this set instead of opening up the individual drawings. That way everybody's looking at the most current set at the same time. Okay. Next one is OCR. I got to speed up just a little bit with our time constraints. OCR, when you come in here, it's going to allow you to select your drawings, again, folders full of drawings, whatever the case might be. Set the language, set what type of drawing or document it is. Is it text, CAD, whatever the case might be? Do you want to correct the skew? Is the drawing scanned and it's turned slightly on the sheet? You can fix that type of thing. Detect orientation, detect text and pictures, so on and so forth. You can also skip vector pages because those are already optimized. So you can do that, click OK. It's going to run through and fix a lot of these issues that we have with raster-based drawings. Cancel that. Next one we go to is script. I discussed this one a little bit earlier, but you can build scripts in here. For instance, this one's kind of cool. It's 4 different steps built into a tool. So if I select this, go to edit, it'll help you build these scripts with color processing. So I'm changing everything to black. I'm going to stamp it with this stamp, and this is where I want it to sit. I want to flatten, and I want to split pages. It's going to do all of that with one button running through all of those scripts. So lots of time savings there as well. Cancel that. I'm going to jump in here and show you the reduce file size. So this is another one where you can look at the different settings in here. Load as many documents as you want. You can set the quality dial as high or low as you want. But what I want to show you here is the edit custom presets. When I come in here, it'll allow us to kind of pinpoint what we're looking to reduce or where we're allowing things to be reduced. So here we've got images. We can go through and change settings there. If we go to fonts, we can look at things there. Miscellaneous. If you're not worried about some of the metadata, uncheck that or check it so that it purges some of that information, and so on and so forth. So you can pinpoint what exactly you're okay with reducing or getting rid of so your file size changes. Close that one. Let's see. Repair. Next one is repair PDF. Again, different things that you can select in here, loading all your drawings, remove text clipping, repair fonts, all of these processing wipeouts. That's a big one coming from AutoCAD. Things like that, we want to be able to fix those. So this is where you would repair your PDFs. Next, we're going to jump down to flatten. We're getting there. Running out of time. Under the flatten markups window, here you can see all the different things that you can pick and choose what you want to flatten. Doesn't have to be everything. The things I want to point out here, though, in this window is you can exclude filtered markups, only do currently selected markups, things like that. But the one to be careful of here is allow markup recovery or unflatten. So you can check this box and be able to unflatten things and make adjustments and flatten them again. Just be aware that if the user on the other end that you're sending this to is aware of this checkbox, they might be able to unflatten them as well. So a lot of people flatten things so that people can't manipulate them. Just know if they know about this check mark, they might be able to go in and unflatten your markups. Okay. This one's kind of cool too. If you show properties in pop-ups, you can actually flatten things and still have the subject, the author, and the date pop up when you hover over those markups, even though they're flattened. So this is kind of a neat way of having the metadata in your markup without leaving the entire markup available to be manipulated. Just show them the metadata as they hover over that information. I'll use that one when I want to do an office plan and show any equipment or phone numbers or anything like that for particular cubicles or offices. You can put that information in your markups, flatten them, and still have access to all of that information by hovering over that person's office. So that's kind of a use case of that one as well. Next, I'm going to jump into my snagging list drawing example and show you the markups list. And here are all the markups that I have for all the different disciplines, structural, electrical, mechanical, that I found walking through and placing symbols, things that I found that were wrong or needed to be fixed. And then you can, of course, create a summary up here. Do a PDF summary. And in here, you can select what data you want to be included in that summary. You can filter and sort. So maybe I want to only show the mechanical. Down here, I would go, because I added layers to everything, I might select only mechanical. So only the mechanical markups are going to show up in my summary. And then when I go to the output, I can tell it to go to my letterhead as well. I'm going to go in here and just say OK and show you what that summary looks like. It's going to show a preview of all the different markups and all of the data that's associated with that markup. And it all landed on my letterhead. So there you can see the different summaries. And if we go under our batch summary, you'll see that it's all the same setup and functionality here, except we can point to several documents at the same time. So if you have a whole folder full of markups and you want to run a report so that you can send it to your drafting team, indicating who's in charge of what, revisions and things like that, you can do that in here, just loading up all those drawings. I'm going to go ahead and cancel this one, and then we'll jump into the last one, which is batch print. Very similar to the summary, you can go in and load several documents, whatever those might be, different projects, different phases. Those are all going to be in different folders. You can load all of those just like the other tools, and then come in here. Maybe you just want to combine them all into one PDF. You can select your Bluebeam PDF, print it to a new PDF, or select whatever printer you might have in your office if you're printing that to a paper document. So that is our batch print. Well, there you have it. How's that for tools that save you time on tedious tasks? That was another fun presentation again this month. I hope you all took notes and enjoyed the detailed introduction to Revu's batch tools. If you recognize the time-saving value of these batch tools, reach out to Darren and his team at Brighter Graphics to learn more about additional licenses of Revu Extreme or the small investment of upgrading your existing seats. And as always, if you have any questions regarding training or customization services for your company, don't hesitate to reach out to our team as well. Next month, we'll be going through several tools used for an efficient design review workflow, including a few customization ideas to make communication more clear during the design review process. Everyone who registered for today's webinar will receive a follow-up email with the registration link for next month. Be sure to grab a seat. We'll have some fun sharing some really cool examples, proving Bluebeam is way more than a PDF viewer. Thanks for hanging out this afternoon. It looks like everyone hung in until the end again. Darren, I saw the team answering several questions along the way. Are there any more questions or things you'd like to add before we sign off?
I'm here, sorry, a bit of a passing
Right,
between the two of us there. So thanks, Troy, that was excellent as normal. Firstly, a quick apology to everybody listening. There was a replay of an automated message that I hadn't realised was playing. We're going to look at trying to removing that from the recording. So if you missed any of the start of the webinar, we're going to put a clean recording hopefully on the Brighter Graphics website. So that'd be a good place to go. As Troy mentioned, we've got further webinars last Tuesday of every month, with the next one being Revu Design on the 27th of September. And additionally, we have on the 4th of August an open space webinar. So if you don't know anything about Google for construction, as one of the terms is being commonly displayed as, that's a great webinar just to find out a little bit more about open space and the tools it can offer. So yeah, no, thanks again, Troy. I hope that everybody enjoyed the webinar. Great to see everybody. Have a good day and rest of the week. Thanks.